Hey guys, how's it going? I've got some really cool things for you to look at today. So we're going to start the video out with this. This is a 1975 Leslie Super Typhoon S3L. It is of SRY slash BC Hydro heritage, as is indicated by the BC Hydro yellow showing through on the back cap. This is a very, very cool horn to have. S3Ls are not typically considered to be rare, more or less just uncommon, as they were, preceded by the RS3L. But this came off of SRY 153, an MP15 DC around, I want to say 2020, 2019. And I can tell it came off of 153 because of this. Right there is a very fine date stamp that says 7/5 on it. Now, 1975 was the only year that the MP15s were built. They weren't built before that for SRY, they weren't built after that. The only three they have were built in 75. The other S3Ls that SRY would have had would have been on the SD38s, which were built in the early 70s and 1974. And they only had 7 S3Ls, so that already rules out 4 of them. So the other 3 would have been on the MP15 DCs. Now, how can I tell that this is 153's horn if there's no identifiable markings on them, other than the hydro paint? Well, the guy I got it from in Langley, he has another one of these. It's an identical horn, but it came off of 152, as is written on the bottom of the manifold. 151 still has its S3L, so that really only leaves 153 as an option. Now, what's really strange about this horn is it says 907 on the bottom. Now, that's odd because 907 has a K5H, so I don't think that's accurate. But nonetheless, this is a really cool horn to have. I'm going to include a run-by in this video, but that's not the only thing I have to show you guys today. I got this from the former Chief Mechanical Officer at SRY, and as far as I know, it's the only one. I haven't seen anybody else with one of these before. This is a original number board from SRY slash BC Hydro 906. Seen some better days, as you can tell. It's currently peeling. That's fine. But this is a glass number board, and I don't know which way is the right side up because it says 906 on both sides. But very cool. I'm so glad to have this. I grew up seeing 906 a lot in the early 2000s. It's kind of what got me into trains to begin with. But the other thing I have from SRY, I got this from an antique store in Langley. I did overpay for it, but it's because I've always admired these lights when I was a kid. I thought they were super unique. I've never seen anything like them. This is my... that's a bit large. Sure, that works. GRS Lex C light. It's an 8-inch light, obviously. These were super prominent when I was a kid. They lined the SRY Valley sub. There was a couple of them in New Westminster. I'm sure some of you might remember that. Underneath the SkyTrain, just outside a trap yard. I don't know the crossing of origin. I don't even know if this is an SRY light. I just suspect that's the case because BC Hydro was a huge user of these in the 80s. I know that BC Rail did use quite a lot of them too, but given that this was being sold at an antique store in Langley, I would say it's probably a good bet to say it is of SRY heritage, or BC Hydro rather. Yeah, if you know where to look, you know the right people, you can get all sorts of different things. One of the coolest things I have right now, this is something I got quite recently. These are the original ditch lights off of the Englewood 301. Now, when this locomotive was being scrapped outside a trap yard, I talked to the scrap contractors and I asked if I could have the ditch lights off of them. And the guy said, sure, come back by Friday, I'll have them ready for you. And here they are on my wall. They don't work, they're 75 volts, and I don't have 75 volts to plug these into. Although the filament on the bulb is intact, so it tells me that they would theoretically work should I hook them up to a 75 volt source. And I actually have another thing from the Englewood Railway. Now, this isn't in the best condition. I found this shattered in the cab of the Englewood 302. The guys let me go up there because I had my PPE. I had some steel toe boots. And they let me take any parts I wanted out of the cab. Unfortunately, there wasn't too much to take. The horns had been taken already, so not much you can do about that. But I did find this in pieces in the cab. I managed to crudely glue together what was left of it. There's still a big chunk missing. But that is one of the original number boards from Englewood 302. And you'll notice, obviously, it's the same size as the 906 board, given that they're both basically SW1200s. I know it's an SW900. They're different horsepower. They're the same car body. They're the same frame. You know, same headlights. Pretty much everything is the same about them. So, yeah, that's pretty much my entire SRY collection and some other things. As promised, I guess I'll show you guys the runby now.